Purport. One should not speak in such a way as to agitate the minds of others. Of course, when a teacher speaks, he can speak the truth for the instruction of his students, but such a teacher should not speak to those who are not his students if he will agitate their minds. This is penance as far as talking is concerned. Besides that, one should not talk nonsense. The process of speaking in spiritual circles is to say something upheld by the scriptures. One should at once quote from the scriptural authority to back up what he is saying. At the same time, such talk should be very pleasurable to the ear. By such discussions, one may derive the highest benefit and elevate human society. There is a limitless stock of Vedic literature, and one should study this. This is called penance. This is called penance of speech. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priya hitam chayat svadhyaya vyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapa uchete. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. So this is Bhagavad Gita 17:15. You don't need this for the camera, it's okay? This is okay for the camera?
Yes.
This light?
For the camera. Yes.
Is it too dark?
No, it's okay.
It's okay?
Yes.
Okay. So, thank you very much for coming to this second part of our series of lectures called Gita for Your Success. So in this we will have, I think, 4 more. We had one on Monday, and we will have 4 more, I think. And we will look at specific verses from the Gita and specific topics. And our topic was excellent questions. The first one is ask excellent questions. And today's is use positive language. Now, this morning, Nila Madhava Prabhu gave class, and he mentioned how I was very grateful to be at that class with the translation of Rupa Vilasa Prabhu, and he mentioned something that reminded me of an example that I actually haven't used in my classes and courses about questions, importance of questions or importance of inquiry, and this is the conversation between Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Raya. And here we have an example of God asking questions and listening. So asking questions and listening is very, very important in helping. It's important actually for a spiritual candidate to ask questions of his guru and more experienced devotees, and to listen to the answer. But also it's important in coaching, counseling, mentoring, in supporting devotees in their spiritual life, and also about their material needs, in relation to their material needs. And also, you have heard that listening is important in helping others. And then we have an example of Lord Chaitanya listening for 7 days of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Of course, he was not very impressed with what he heard, but he was patiently listening. So most of the modern people have no patience to listen. Sometimes ladies complain that men don't listen. Maybe you have heard about it. Of course, maybe if you are not married, you don't know about this very much, but it's a well-known fact that men don't listen. They read newspaper, or watch football, or play chess if they're older. So of those of you who were present on Monday evening, can you share something that you remember that we spoke about? What was the best thing you remember from Monday?
One thing you said about Prabhupada, he asked a question, and we should answer what could this question be. And we have different questions, but Prabhupada's question is the most important question is what is the most important?
So my question is what question Prabhupada considered the most important?
Yes.
And you gave different answers. And can you repeat the question?
And the question Prabhupada said is the most important question is what is the most important?
So there was different answers for those of you who were not present, like how to attain Krishna Prema and what else? What were the questions?
I don't know.
You were guessing, devotees were guessing, what is the most important question?
Or how to stay forever with devotees, like that.
Yeah. I mean, all your questions were beautiful, were really like Krishna conscious and important, but Srila Prabhupada says something that is very down to earth, very universal. I mean, you can say this to anyone, even if they don't like Hare Krishna. The most important question is what is most important. So it's a question about priorities. So what are your priorities in life? Do you have them clearly written down and remember and act on them every single day? It's so important to be clear about your priorities. Then it will be easy for you to say no to less important and to say yes to the most important. And we all struggle with this because we are not sure. Sometimes other people distract us. They take our time and then we regret it. Any other question that you remember that was useful for you from Monday? Yeah.
Excellent questions are these questions who make you successful. This is what you said.
I didn't say that. I said questions that help your success.
Or like that,
Yeah. I mean, it's a similar point. It's almost the same thing, but it's a little bit different. So the questions that help your success. So if you ask yourself questions that help your success, then you will get better answers. Yes?
And he said some question like this: when not you, who else? And when not now, when?
If not you, who?
Yes.
If not now, when? So these two questions eliminate all excuses. And I think you said what, like the top excuse that people give, or in ISKCON? Top excuse in ISKCON?
I'm not qualified.
I'm not qualified. Prabhu, can you give class? I'm not qualified. Prabhu, can you cook something? I'm not qualified. Prabhu, can you eat something? I'm qualified. I can taste and test every preparation and give you my high opinion. I mean, my expert opinion. And tell you if you need a little bit more salt or more chili. Okay, so there is a lot of resources to learn about how to ask questions from the Shastra and also from some professional resources. And if you're interested in this topic, I can give you some resources. You can write me or approach me or grab me by the neck. And today we will speak about using positive language. And this verse from the 17th chapter speaks about how to communicate. Words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, not agitating to others, and always reciting the Vedic literature, always having spiritual content in our minds. Now, when you read this verse, when we read this verse, we usually think this is this relates to communicating with other people, isn't it? However, you can use this verse also in relation to communicating with yourself. How do you talk to yourself? So, are you speaking to yourself words that are truthful? Are you true to yourself? I mean, are you saying the words that are truthful? Or are you trying to deceive yourself or to cheat yourself by the way you talk to yourself, the way you think? You are putting yourself in delusion. Pleasing. How is your inner dialogue? Is it pleasing? Is it inspiring? Is your inner dialogue beneficial for you? Is it agitating, disturbing you? The way you think, is it disturbing you? And is the content of the Vedic literature always in your mind and intelligence? So you can ask yourself these questions, and you can check how is your inner dialogue by this verse. So if your inner dialogue, your self-talk, is very spiritual and positive, then also your external communication will be spiritual and positive, and we want our communication to be spiritual and positive. If you look at a person who is depressed, what does that mean?
The dialogue is very bad.
Yeah, inner dialogue is very negative. They say everything is hopeless, they are useless, I'm useless. I feel helpless. And it's very disempowering inner dialogue. So, but did you know, I have a news for you, did you know that you can choose how you talk to yourself? Do you know that you have this power to choose how you talk to yourself? You may say, no, my mind is very strong. Whatever mind tells me, this is my self-talk. But actually, you can say to your mind, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, my dear mind, why are you saying things like this? Why are you thinking of sinful activities? Why are you criticizing others? And then the mind says, well, I'm sorry, this is my business. Why do you object? This is why I'm with you, to make trouble. But you can say, my dear mind, please cooperate for my spiritual success. Sometimes you can tell your mind, my dear mind, please shut up. I don't want to hear this nonsense. And then for some time the mind is a little shocked and doesn't, say things like negative things. And after some time again tries his story. So sometimes people say, what is your story? What is the story that you are telling yourself? For example, your story may be self-pity. You feel sorry for yourself, and this is your story. Poor me. And you always repeat this. Poor me. I am the victim. This is called victimitis virus. There is two kinds of diseases, victimitis and excusitis. Excusitis has to do with excuses. And one question that we mentioned, for those who were not here, is that what would you like to have in your life, results or excuses? So one thing that is happening in this inner dialogue is a lot of excuses. Why aren't you more Krishna conscious? Oh, it's so hard, and I was trying, and I'm so fallen. Why aren't you more happy? This is even harder question. Well, it's Kali Yuga, and who can be happy? It's a depressed age, and everybody's depressed. How can I be happy when everybody around me is depressed? If you understand that you have a power of choice, that you can choose how you think, what you think, you can choose how you feel, you can choose what you desire, all these three functions of the mind, you can start practicing this. You can start practicing. And I have to take off the microphone to show you the greatest success secret in the universe, because I have to demonstrate something. How do I take this off?
And just there's a clip.
Please unclip me. So this is the greatest success secret, and it's not quick fix. It's not quick fix or instant success scheme or get rich quick scheme. This is Vinyasa push-ups. Knees are down.
Vinyasa push-ups.
So what is the greatest success secret? The greatest success secret is daily practice. You know that? Talk to any champion in any field. Srila Prabhupada said, daily routine. So while I'm doing this, you may say, why he's falling on floor? Because I think in this way you will remember longer this point. If I would sit in here, maybe you would not even remember it. But if you try to remember why he fell on the floor, aha, there was a secret, but I forgot the secret. Daily practice, daily investments. God has created the law of action and reaction, and what you put in, you get out. Unfortunately, I have been working with so many devotees individually on their success, and many devotees, believe me, don't understand the law of karma. We think we know, or we preach to other people, you know the law of karma, it's your karma, Prabhu. But actually we don't understand. How can I say something like this? You know, it's almost insult. Especially devotees who have been around for a long time. I don't understand the law of karma. Come on, I understand it. We don't understand the law of action and reaction. If we would understand it, we would never complain and blame people for whatever is our present misery. Because we would understand, because of my past misdeeds, I have what I have. And that's action and reaction. So devotees continue to blame others, to criticize, to say that it's injustice, it's not fair, I don't deserve it. But the law of karma is very precise. Everyone gets what they deserve and less. Less, it is stated in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we get less. Because karmani nirdahati kintu chabhakti bhajan, devotee gets reduced version of his karma. So yes, it's not fair, but it's on the opposite side not fair, that you get less than you deserve. So if you can swallow this, you will be so peaceful in your life. And you will never feel like a victim or blame anybody, no matter what happens to you. Believe me. And I'm not making it up like some fanatic. In the Nectar of Devotion, Srila Prabhupada says, this verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14:8, Tatenu Kampam Susamiksha Mana, should be the guide of all devotees. This is what Prabhupada says about this verse. And this verse speaks about getting less than we deserve. So how can we change our inner dialogue based on this verse? Start observing. Okay, how is my inner dialogue today? You can think about today. How was your inner dialogue? How were you talking to yourself today? I went with, what's the name of the temple commander?
Rishi Kumar Prabhu.
Rishi Kumar Prabhu speaks German and Russian, so we were discussing with hands. And a little bit Serbian, and I know a little bit German, he knows a little bit English. So today we went to the hospital, first evangelistic Kalki hospital. We went and the lady sent us to some other place from the reception. So this was the first blow. I'm proud of my European health insurance card, but it doesn't work in Germany because England wants to do Brexit. So I said, I'm a British citizen and I have this card. And she looked at me and said, you have to pay. So we didn't go. I mean, I still have a problem. And when Keshav Prabhu comes back, I will ask him if he can help me find somebody. But in Birkenfeld, near Abenteuer, they actually directly charged England insurance. They didn't want me to go through this very difficult procedure of squeezing money out of UK government to get me back money that I paid for my... Once, when I was in Abenteuer, I paid €800 for the intervention because I had some attack, some pain. And it was very hard to get it back. I mean, you had to get so many bills and they are not satisfied. You have to beg them. So we didn't go. Now, this is the perfect situation for a negative inner dialogue, to criticize this woman, to criticize Germany, to criticize my destiny, my luck, to get angry at Krishna. Come on, Krishna, I'm trying to preach here and I want to fix my body, but you are not helping me. They want to charge me so much money. Now, and then I said, remember what you are preaching on your seminars. Take a deep breath. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Rishi Kumar Prabhu didn't notice this, so he will not testify. Hare Krishna. And after 3 Hare Krishna, I felt more positive. I felt better. And I was thinking, okay, so let's see what would be the next solution or next way to get to the doctor. And there is 2 options. One is maybe Keshav Prabhu can help or not, or in 2 weeks when I go to Budapest, I have a devotee who can help me there. Doctor. A negative attempt of the mind to have a negative conversation and criticizing has been stopped. But it wasn't so before. In the past, it took me hours to come to that point, sometimes days, if there is a bigger disturbance. So by practice, as you have seen, by push-ups, mental, by practice, you can reduce your disturbance time from days or hours to minutes and even seconds. But you have to practice. Nothing comes overnight. There is also another physical... Now I have to take the microphone again. Please. Another physical thing you can do to change the way you feel and also to influence your inner dialogue. So please get up. Please get up. Raise your arms. In this position, try to have a negative inner dialogue. Why are you laughing? You should be negative.
It won't work.
Okay, now To intensify your negative inner dialogue and do a Swami step, keep your hands up. Negative inner dialogue. Everything is bad, the weather, it's cold, it's hot, it's whatever bothers you, I don't know. Universe. Okay, now try to intensify even more your inner dialogue, but continue doing this and chant Hare Krishna softly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. You're very bad at being depressed. You're not good students of depression yoga. Sit down, please. So, imagine husband and wife fighting with their raised arms. How would it look like? I told you I'm right. No, I'm right. You are always right. Now I'm right. This time I'm right. It would be very funny. They would fight. And where did I get this from? This, maybe you think he found it in some New Age book. But look at this. I got it from them. Why God keeps his hands up all the time? There must be some magic in it. All the time he keeps his hands up. Only maybe we're taking prashara, it's down. So whenever you feel bad or your inner dialogue becomes negative, raise your arms and see what it does to your mind and let me know. So this is just the physical. When you change your posture, it influences your mind and your inner dialogue. And if you make a decision, I will not allow my mind to be negative. I will always try to have spiritual and positive inner dialogue in communicating with myself and communicating with others. And I'm going to practice this until I master it and until I root out completely all the nonsense talk that I had for millions of lifetimes. Then you can imagine how much you can make progress on having a positive inner dialogue. Then when you communicate with others, then you can also apply this. Now there is so much Shastric evidence to support this. Do you know what is Durukti? Who knows what is Durukti? It's from the Srimad Bhagavatam verse. Durukti means harsh speech. And it says that harsh speech is a child of envy and death. Child of envy and death. It is said that harsh words pierce the heart much deeper than any arrow can pierce. Because of harsh words, people commit suicide. Somebody hurt them with their words. So usually we hurt people with our words. And similarly, kind word, there is a saying, I don't know if you have it in German, a kind word opens an iron door. You have something similar in German? Kind word. So with the kind word you can save a person's life. We have experienced that people who wanted to commit suicide, when being supported by encouraging words or by compassionate words, they gave up the idea. By one email you can save somebody's life if you write something supportive and encouraging. So if you work on your words, whether it's written or oral, spoken, then you can make a huge difference in people's lives. Now, in the beginning, you may sound artificial to yourself, because if you start to praise someone, they may think that you are flattering them. Or flattery means you are saying something positive about somebody because you want something from them. You want to get something from them. But if you don't have such a motive and you praise them, they will start to understand that it's genuine and that you mean it and that you just want to encourage them. I remember when I learned about this and I started doing this, even I sounded to myself a little bit artificial, praising someone so much. But after practicing for so many years, at least 18 years, now it's more natural. And if I praise you, maybe you will think in the beginning, oh, he's flattering me. But after some time you will see, and I will give you a proof why I am praising you. I will show you why I am praising you on particular examples that you have done this well, you have said this well, you can cook this well. So you can't defeat me if I praise you. You can't say that I'm faking it and I'm artificial. No, it's a very genuine praise because I have reasons why should I praise you. So when you appreciate people, they are able to think better. When you show appreciation, they are able to think better. So words are so powerful, so use them carefully with people. You can destroy a life practically. People are so sensitive. And if somebody offends you or hurts you, you also train yourself to be resilient. Because probably they have a problem. Okay, sometimes maybe you can hurt them in some way, so you can take seriously. I have heard one question that I don't know if I mentioned the other day, but now I just remembered. I want to share it with you. One very important aspect of the high-class communication or inner dialogue is high-class questions. Which questions we ask ourselves. And imagine if somebody would ask you, what is it that is important to you that I didn't understand yet? Imagine. If you have maybe a tense relationship with your husband or wife, and then you ask them, what is it that is important to you that I still didn't understand? Please let me know. I want to correct this. This is so empathic, this is so respectful, this question. What is it that I didn't understand and that is important to you? So if you ask these kind of like appreciative questions or empathic questions, this is a part of the art of communication, spiritual and positive communication. And if you master your inner dialogue, you will never be depressed. You will never fall into a self-pity. Poor me, I am a victim, etc., etc. Sometimes devotees come to me and say, oh, I don't have even one day off, or I don't have time to rest. And then I say, did you speak to your authorities about this? Well, I tried, but they say there is nobody else. And then I say, and what if you die? Who will replace you? Because you may die of exhaustion, out of exhaustion, because you work too much. So, and now, we can make a big campaign on the internet that ISKCON leaders are not caring, but I say to the person, to the individual devotee, you are responsible for your sufficient rest, for your self-renewal. You take responsibility, and if needed, you fight for your space to sleep, or whatever, to rest, or to wash your clothes, or I don't know, whatever. So every individual is responsible, and once you And after a couple of years, you will also become a leader. And you will know how devotees feel when they have too much to do, and you can protect them as a leader. But you also have learned, and you will teach others how they should protect themselves if they have too much to do, for example. If we create, maybe you don't have this problem here, but if we create so much service, such high standards, that it's so hard, the devotees are leaving, do you think Krishna will be happy? Krishna don't want devotees to leave. He didn't create all these standards and services so that devotees come and leave because it's too much. No. He created service that we engage, get purified, and go back to Godhead and be happy. But sometimes there is so much, and maybe sometimes authorities don't have understanding. They push people until they are finished, and when they leave, they say, anyway, somebody else will come. This is not right. This is not right. So you are responsible for your self-renewal, for your recreation. If you are lucky to have caring leaders, that's fine. That's beautiful. But if this is not the case, you are responsible in front of God to protect yourself. It is said, God helps those who help themselves. Prabhupada says in 624 purport, he quotes this famous saying, God helps those who help themselves. Recently I was in Bangladesh, and one night I started suffocating, and I have pain in my chest, and I have heart problems. And for the first time I felt I will get unconscious in the middle of the night. I listened to one audiobook whole night until 3 o'clock, and it was beautiful. I learned so much how to help people. But I was a little bit afraid that I'm going to die so, by the morning. And I was thinking, cardiologist. Everybody's telling me, cardiologist, or Ayurvedic doctor, or some people are telling me take curcuma, some people are telling me take eucalyptus, different things. So, so many instructions. And then I said, I am going to help myself now. I will not listen to anyone. So I'm going to try and feel what I need, what my body needs. And I felt that my body needs air. So I opened the window, started to breathe, fell asleep. In the morning, I was like a butterfly. So since then, I haven't had serious problems. Last night a little bit, because I was afraid this room is very cold. It has external walls. But actually this room, I figured out how to exist perfectly in this room. Because I took responsibility for my situation. Instead of expecting you to heat my room and to spend, thousands or hundreds of euros on the electricity radiator, without electricity radiator, very pleasant. Window is open a little bit. I have air. It's not too cold. It's not too hot. Sometimes I put a jacket a little bit, but it's okay. And I can breathe. So since I came here, I didn't have any problems with breathing and everything. And probably we went to Rhine? How do you say? Rhine. Famous river. It's huge. It's like Ganga. It's huge. I felt honored to approach this river. I don't know why. I think in history I learned something about Rhine. There was maybe some battle, or do you remember? Maybe you're not good in history. Anyway, somehow I remember from my childhood that this river is famous. So we went there, we walked, and this walking, Hare Krishna, this walking was very helpful. So, I met a Mataji from Croatia who told me amazing thing. I came to get instructions from her husband because he saved his brother who had heart problems by his instructions. So I asked Prabhu, how did you learn all these things? He said, I learned most of these things from Prabhupada, and I had to heal my family. I had to help my family to be healed when they are sick, and doctors are very expensive. So I had to figure out how to help them. So I came to him and I recorded his instructions. But the best instruction came from his wife. It's a universal wisdom. She said, we always expect that someone else should help us. Someone else should make us happy. And she was a person who was on the verge of death, of cancer. And what happened? Because she's lucky to have such a husband who is straightforward. He said, are you going to leave us? Because she was dying of cancer. They said 2 weeks. Doctor said 2 weeks. Are you going to leave me and kids without you and die? She said, no, I don't want this. Then you have to listen to me. And he told her to walk, to do different, to drink water, I don't know. She is now alive and well. And she helped herself by taking responsibility for her health. And they're an amazing family. They are very healthy. He asked me, Prabhu asked me, do you think I'm going to the gym? I look at him, I say, yes, you're going to the gym every day. He said, no, I have no money for gym, but I'm exercising. She's also walking every day. So his brother also, he was walking every day. And one man wrote a book how he cured himself from cancer. Because doctors told him he will die. He will die in a few weeks. And he just went in the mountains of Croatia. He went in the mountains and he walked. And sometimes he meets these village people, they give him some healthy food. Another man, he just ate apples every day and purified his body by eating apples and saved his life. And this man is still alive who had cancer many years ago, and he was diagnosed to die. So this is also connected to our positive language topic today, because these people took responsibility the way how they talk to themselves, for example, about their health. You all have this experience. When you feel a little weak mentally or physically, then you start to feel self-pity, start to feel like a victim, start to feel helpless, the mind becomes weak, your inner dialogue becomes very strange or negative or hopeless, and by your own words, you kill yourself. By your own words, you actually destroy the chances of healing, the chances of recovery, and you're not helping yourself. So if you really work on this self-talk, then whatever you say to other people will be very, very similar and very encouraging. So now this is a huge topic. I have like a whole seminar only about this. Sometimes it lasts a couple of days. But this is just something for you to think about. How many possibilities are there based on this verse, how we can transform our lives and how we can change the way we think, the way we feel, what we desire, our communication with ourselves, our communication with others. So using positive language is a question of daily practice. And you can take a verse, repeat it, verse that is really inspiring you. Any words that inspire you, say them and use them. It can be a verse, it can be a quote, it can be a part of the purport, it can be something you have heard in the class. Nowadays on Facebook you have so much wisdom. You can share it also. You can teach it to others. And because everything started with the word. In the Bible it is said, and in the beginning it was a word, and also in the Vedas it says in the beginning it was Om. Everything starts with the sound. The sound is so powerful. And our process is spiritual sound, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, main process of self-realization. But because we chant inattentively, we don't experience the power of sound. So if you need scientific proofs of the power of sound, there is a book called Sonic Theology. This book explores the power of prayer, not only in one religion, but in all religions, the power of mantras in some kind of a scientific way. And even this, I can give you. Bhakti Nirina was showing interest in this yesterday. So there is so much we can learn how we can help ourselves, and it's all in the Gita. But we don't know how many dimensions this verse has. This verse has so many dimensions. Prabhupada said he wanted to write another Gita with other purports. He says Gita is unlimited. You can write more purports to every verse. So it's not only this one. So thank you very much for listening. Do you have any questions? Yes.
For me, the inspiration which I have sometimes by doing this nice inner dialogue, it's very short-lived. Maybe for 1 day or 2 days, but after that, again I go to the same mode. What can I do? I really don't understand. I really don't find the answer. How to overcome this short-lived.
How to what?
Overcome the short-lived inspiration.
How to overcome the short-lived positive inner dialogue? By listening to positive words from the outside, from other people. So always fill your mind with, for example, Prabhupada's classes. There is 82 gigabytes of unedited Prabhupada audio. I have it. I can give you. And there is so many classes by devotees, and there is so many kirtans. So instead of listening to the negative mind, we listen to the spiritual classes, and they become part of our thinking. They become part of our inner dialogue. If the mind says something negative, you say, no, I heard something different from Prabhupada. So it's not true. You don't believe everything the mind tells you. And it requires practice. Okay? Yes?
I'm not quite sure what I want to ask, but for me I noticed clearly when I'm in the mode of tamas, especially in the morning, my mind always turns me. I don't want to get up, I just feel so bad. But as soon as it changes, when you get into the mode of sattva, and I'm not even sure if it's sattva or passion, it's going more away. So I want to ask you, the nature of tamas to have a negative self-talk, or
yes.
can also overcome that?
Yeah, self-pity, negative self-talk, criticizing others, depression. There is no quick fix, there is no instant solution. You need to practice again and again, telling your mind. Even Raghunath Das Goswami has manakshiksha, instruction to the mind, my dear mind, and then, my dear mind, please be helpful, be cooperative in my attempt to be Krishna conscious. And also Krishna can help you control your mind. So you pray, Krishna, please help me to awaken my spiritual mind. And your spiritual mind is like a gold mine. You know gold mine? Gold mine? Where you dig gold. So So your spiritual mind is full of wonderful content. I wanted to start an institute for a beautiful mind. Imagine if you develop a beautiful mind, you will have beautiful action, you will have beautiful behavior, you will have beautiful words, you will speak. So, who doesn't want to? How many of you don't want to have a beautiful mind? That means everybody wants. How many of you are ready to work on developing a beautiful mind? Yeah, and do you know what it takes to do that? What is the price?
Practice.
Huh?
Practice.
Yes, practice. So, we should be ready to do whatever it takes to develop a beautiful mind. And beautiful mind means Krishna conscious mind, spiritual mind, purifying mind. And that means thinking, feeling and willing are spiritualized. And also sankalpa and vikalpa are two functions of the mind, accepting and rejecting. Accept everything that is favorable and reject everything that is unfavorable. And if you train the mind in this way, Prabhupada speaks a lot about training the mind. So are we doing push-ups with our mind every day? So we can start doing this with using these verses. Yes?
Is it possible to achieve this state of self-satisfied state? The person remains self-satisfied, he is not getting affected with this, either with this bad words or with this appreciative words, but he is satisfied in self.
It's possible only in connection if you are connected to the Supreme. If you are connected strongly to Krishna, then you can be satisfied. Because satisfaction comes from Him. We don't have self-satisfaction separate from Krishna, some independent self-satisfaction because we have achieved realization of Brahman. It's also not long-lasting realization of Brahman, even Paramatma, but Bhagavan realization, connection with God in service and love, this is lasting, and this is when we can be satisfied and not affected by the dualities of material nature, not affected by negativity and of the mind or whatever mind offers. Okay. Yes?
Sometimes I have in my mind this thought, oh, Krishna consciousness is so high, you will not attain it, so what is the use? It's so difficult. So how to break this? How to this negative circle?
Mm-hmm. Again, how do you talk to your mind? The mind says something, and what do you do then? You say yes. He says, oh yeah, it's too high, and then you agree. You say, yeah, you're right. Maybe I should leave. Maybe I should try something lower. Maybe something in the mode of passion or ignorance. But if you say, my dear mind, yes, it's not easy, but when you sell diamonds, very few people come forward, and I want to buy diamonds, so shut up. So, yes, it's high, but I want to jump high. It's everyday battle for everyone, even after 30 years. Yeah?
Just a quick question. Do you know the name of the prayer by Bhaktivinoda Thakur that you talked about?
The name of the prayer? There is a book, like 90% of the verses start with my dear mind. I don't know if it's called Kalyana Kalpataru or Kalyana Kalpatavi, but I have it, and I have to find it, and I can give it to you. I have it in English. And Manak Shiksha also, I think there is less verses there. It starts, every verse starts with My Dear Mind by Raghunath Das Goswami. Yep.
Thank you. Most of the day I walked with the books in the street, and it is very cold. and very wet. It was very difficult, yes. And I was trying somehow to collect myself, to be focused and something like that. And then one moment I thought that I should be compassionate to me.
Compassionate to yourself?
Compassionate to myself, yes. And then I felt weak, relaxed, too much relaxed, and I left. I thought, okay, I'm not a brahmachari. Now I was not so young, so I shouldn't have a train. And with this point of view of weakness, or how to call it, I left the place of Kurukshetra.
Okay.
You see, it was the time to go because Gaurarati certainly yes. First I thought no, my nature no. I have invested time, I have invested so power, it is a long way, I should stay, and if I'm here, I should stay. So how to find the way out of such situations? So to find the real mantra, useful mantra for the mind in this moment. Not to be too weak, not to be too strong, just to be balanced. Yes. Because compassionate for me, I understood this for me, compassionate it made me weak. So all poor, you should go, something like that. You see, how to balance it. Yeah.
I don't have a quick fix solution for this. It's a daily struggle. It's a daily battle. I can only say use your intelligence to discriminate when are you becoming too soft with yourself or too hard on yourself. And as you say, it should be in the middle. It should be balanced. So when you see that you are going too much on one side, go back. When you see that they're going too much on the other side, go back. You will see, because by mistake, if you are too hard on yourself, you will start to lose energy and lose enthusiasm. If you are too soft on yourself, you will also start to lose enthusiasm and energy, and you will feel something is wrong. So you have Krishna in your heart. He's your compass, and he can give you a signal, when you are doing the right thing. But we always have a tendency to go to extremes. Either we are too fanatical or we are too lenient, too soft with ourselves, and then we fall in Maya. Or you are too fanatical, then you become too exhausted or too frustrated, then you become envious of others why they are not doing austerity, and it's not good. So you find your own pace, your own balance for your own psychophysical makeup, and do your maximum, do your best. But I don't think it's good to stay too late in the evening. Better to go a little bit earlier and then come back earlier and have enough rest and prasadam and program. And then you are ready for the next day. If you exhaust yourself too much in one day, then the next day you cannot get up, then you chase your rounds. So it's daily. For 35 years, I have this daily struggle for the self-discipline and to find it in balance. And there is no easy answers to this. Every individual has to find their own balance and in line with the programs with instructions. Okay. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Dayalatai Vijay Pranga ki jai.